First there was the Tobey Maguire Topher Grace 2-for-1 special. Then there was the moderately amusing Tom Grunting Hardy Spectacular. And now there's Agent Venom playing Venom. Wait, what? Well, the Marvel Universe is nothing if not adaptable. My name is Benji, and this is the review of the Venom Hero Pack. We, as always, will be bringing you the lowdown and the skinny on all the cards of relevance found in this here plastic treasure chest, including his Signature 15, Obligation and Nemesis deck. To start anywhere then but his identity card would be foolish. So here we see a Flash and a Thompson of the alter ego variety. Yep, that's right, the same guy that bullied the hell out of Peter Parker's Spider-Man at school. But look, maturity comes with wartime service and bodily sacrifice. And so this subsequently resulted in him joining a rejuvenated super soldier program and getting some venom inside him. That 4 rec and hit points of 12 seems him squarely in the middle tier of on-paper survivability. And anything other than a hand size of 6 would not have been cricket. Having the ability to take an extra restricted upgrade, bringing the limit from 2 to 3 is interesting, and we'll have to see what impact that might have as we go on. But we also have the latest in a lineage of setup fetching abilities, except this time you have to discard cards from the top of the deck until you find one. Look, I'm not one to turn down free cards, but this is definitely the worst version of this effect. So let's see if this is all a conscious design decision. As we flip over to the gun tote inside, we not only see the need to repeat that he can have an extra restricted upgrade. Now the reason this struck me as odd is because they've never had to do this before, as there haven't been any always switched on passive abilities printed on an identity. But from the clerical to the downright awesome, this guy, ladies and gentlemen, is a mega cool, bona fide space knight. Spreading the gospel of heraldry to other species might feel a little bit off, but cynicism aside, this is the greatest name for a trait that has ever been and will ever be. His symbiotic bond is a delicious little push your luck action. Did he need more HP for you to use this with reckless abandon? Either way, I love action economy, but do I look like it to the tune of a 1-for-1 trade for a resource? This, again, on paper I should add, seems to be something you use as sparingly as you can manage. But the complementary hand size of 5 will still see your economy in a really strong place. The 1-2-2 basic power stat line is a little bit underwhelming, straight up middle of the pack, but you just know Agent Venom is going to be rocking some hardware to pump this up. So to his Signature 15, and as always we start with an identity's ally, best buddy comrade, here named Behind Enemy Lines, aka we call our kids whatever we damn well please now. What are you saying? It's not an ally? Damn it! As it turns out, Hulk, Groot and Rocket Raccoon also don't have friends, so you're not breaking ground here, old boy. What you are doing though is telling me that not only do you like thwarting, but you also like flipping back to alter ego form for some much needed downtime from all that self-inflicted resource generating damage you're taking. I say this is completely meh, but it gets shoved into Value Town if you've got access to enough mental or wild icons. 2 copies of Grasping Tendrils is the little defensive ability that could. Cancelling an attack is no mean thing, but it's also that little bit more volatile in its effectiveness because of the variable nature of incoming damage. Would it have been terrible if you could activate this after the boost card is revealed? Well, okay, maybe that would make this card exceptionally strong. But would I also have traded it in for the conditional bonus of stunning the villain? Probably, but as it is, I still really like the card, especially if you get a stun from it. The problem is, the more you stretch your deck to different icon requirements, the worse it will inherently become. Wild icons only then? We then come locked and loaded, this time only as a one-off, which on the one hand makes it slightly anomalous but no less impactful. If Venom's one of those characters who needs some setting up to run optimally, then an opening hand or early game slicing of this card should set you up very nicely alongside his setup ability. 3 copies of Run and Gun cements the hunch that this gun-toting symbiote is all up for some burst damage turns. Get set up with 2 or 3 weapons and let the fireworks off. I have moderately warm and fuzzy feelings about how this can pop off, but I also can't sit here singing its praises too long. For one, it's going to take up most of your resources for a turn. And for 2, having 3 copies means you'll see this more than you'd like before you've got your ducks in a row. And so, fair enough, that's Marvel Champions, don't get too attached to your cards, but why, oh why, did it have to have an energy icon? The only thing we know from his signature card so far is that we don't want energy. For shame, Run and Gun. For shame. Wait, did we speak too soon? 2 copies of Savage Attack, drink your energy icons. Sweet. But would you rather A, confuse an enemy, B, stun an enemy, or C, overkill? 7.6 times out of 10 you want A and B, so the FFG giveth and the FFG taketh away. All that aside, 5 damage for 2 resources is okay by me. Not OP, but by no means UP. Me and this card are cool with each other. Respect. The unique Project Rebirth 2.0 is the obligatory alter ego action card, and I must say it's a doozy. Now, what's the most painful thing about recovering? That's right, the tempo loss from exhausting your identity. But this allows you to take a breather in your civilian clothes after you've already turned sideways in hero form and still heal up. Or you can just draw a card. This for me is a top tier card and works really well with that probable need to hop back to alter ego form that we've already discussed. Now, I wondered how long it was going to take until we hopped on the restricted bandwagon, and here we are with the one and done multi-gun. Once again, this is all good. Having 3 options is really quite impressive. Not that any of the choices are hugely impactful, but what should never be underestimated is a toolkit card like this. Trust me when I say this will return its value and then some throughout the course of a game. And just as importantly, because it's not tied to tapping your identity, it'll benefit a great deal readying when you use Run and Gun. What surprises me then as we talk about the lone copy of Spider Sense is that Venom combines reasonable survivability with excellent resource economy, and this is another reason why. It's just a shame you can't fetch this up during setup, because the earlier you play it, the more value it gets. Just think, with our hero's ability, we can be rocking a net 7 resources the turn after a villain attack. Me likey. To close the book on signature cards, we have 2 pistolas, and they're both of the restricted kind, which Venom does not give a tippenny about. And once again, let us not underrate modularity. Yes, +1 to a basic power for 1 resource already outshines its aspect-based contemporaries, but to have it affect any of the 3 basic powers is absolute cherry. There is no downside here, only sweet goodness and a quite efficiently magnificent way to end this solid set of cards. So as I struggle for control over the need to hype up obligation cards somehow, this one doesn't actually feel like a rinse and repeat exercise in boredom. So you can exhaust alter ego and take 2 damage, or spawn a fairly middling minion from your Nemesis deck up in your grill. Is this a meaningful choice on an obligation? Well, I ever never. Interestingly though, the second option can still be selected if you've already drawn shadows from the past and the symbiotes are in the encounter deck or discard pile. In that instance, this just becomes a surge card. I must say though, this is one of the better designed obligations we've seen to date. The innovation doesn't stop there, as Venom's Nemesis deck bucks some trends too. In reverse order then we have 4, that's right, 4 copies of the Nemesis minion in range symbiote. That does mean, in case you were wondering, that 4 of these less than beautiful bad boys are sicked on you all at once, which by anyone's estimation is mental. Not only is a combined 8 health more than usual to have to chew through, but that's also 8 damage you're staring down the barrel of if you don't deal with some or all of them on your turn. I honestly don't know what we've done to deserve this. Venom's signature 15 seems pretty well balanced. Some good, some meh, some not so good. So yeah, you're gonna dread drawing shadows whichever way you swing it. One beacon of light though is that Venom is pretty well set up with his basic power and the multi-gun to be doing damage in increments of 2. So just pray that you're ready when these get drawn. And so to compound matters, we don't get away without drawing a side scheme, as Clintar Frenzy is also here to piss on your parade. Now, if you somehow do manage to do with 4 very unhappy symbiotes, then you still need to muster up some threat removal, lest you be forced to draw an extra encounter card at the end of the turn. Wowzers, this is a nasty Nemesis deck. But that there has been Venom in a hero pack. I don't want to judge him too harshly based on what might happen if you have to deal with all the Nemesis shenanigans. His quality took a while to reveal itself. The identity and early signature cards were all about the average and uninspiring. But as things went on, I think we're left with a solid hero pack with a little bit of a twist, which is no bad thing. He's not going to be an alien wrecking machine, but I think a decent level of power and a goodly amount of fun is up for grabs here. Alas, I have been the voice of Benji, and this is him telling you that this video has ended.